The NBA draft is here. Let's get into some predictions. No funny business, no jokes, straight to the point. I've got some predictions, what I think is going to happen on draft night. Some of these are bold, some of these are not bold, some of these are very bold, like that Chex Mix flavor. You guys like that bold Chex Mix? It's just late stage capitalism at its finest, really. Just put some extra fucking salt in the bag and sell it as a new product. Anyways, I have some predictions for the draft. I want to preface this by saying, while I come across very knowledgeable, I understand that, trust me, I do. My draft research, I make this joke all the time. My draft research is watching other people's draft research. Okay, I'm not watching film. I'm not breaking down tape. I'm just watching other people do it. So does that make me an expert? Who am I to say, really? Yeah, I think so, actually. Anyways, let's just get right into it. Some of my draft predictions. Victor Wembanyama goes first overall. Oh, that is what we in the industry call comedy. Piggybacking off of that, I think Brandon Miller does go second overall. I have no idea what to believe here. The reports are all over the place. I think Brandon Miller goes second overall, and I think we're going to come back to that and look at it as one of the biggest draft fuck-ups in recent history. I'm not big of a believer in Scoot Henderson. I think what he's going to bring to the table is good, and I like Brandon Miller, but I don't really see, the second overall pick upside, really. Is he going to blossom into a star? I struggle to see that as a reality. There's a lot of things about him that you want to see in a player you're drafting second overall that you're not getting, like half court creation and finishing. Those are pretty big deals. I would personally be a little disappointed if I were a Charlotte Hornets fan and Brandon Miller was the second overall pick. I just would. I don't care about fit. I want Scoot Henderson on my team. Oh, here we go. How about this one? The Wizards signed Kristaps Porzingis to a new deal, give him a no trade clause, and then immediately trade him for Luke Kornet, Fiondu Kabengele, and Sam Hauser. Wow. That's one of my predictions. Given recent events, that could very well happen, actually. This one feels like a lock. This one feels like an absolute lock. The Portland Trailblazers fuck it up. They're going to mess this offseason up. For me, in my opinion, the only real way I can leave this offseason saying, oh, the Portland Trailblazers won, they had a great offseason, is if they trade Dame. It's time to rip the Band-Aid off. They have no better time than now, right? Because this, rebuild has fallen into their laps. They've been trying to be good, and they have failed mightily, and they have shut it down the last 2 years. Shaedon Sharpe oozes potential, and now you have the third overall pick in a draft where you could land Scoot Henderson. So your rebuild could be Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons if you keep him, and whatever you get, whatever massive haul you end up getting for Damian Lillard. That is a godsend. And these reports are so fucking funny. It's like the Trailblazers and Dame are going back and forth. One minute a report will say, oh, Damian Lillard's committed to staying in Portland. Then 5 minutes later, it's the Portland Trailblazers are keeping the third overall pick. Then 5 minutes later, a report comes out that says, Damian Lillard does not want to be around for a rebuild. 5 minutes later, it says, the Portland Trailblazers are not trading Damian Lillard. 5 minutes later, it says, Damian Lillard said he wants to go to the Heat. 5 minutes later, it's the Heat are prepared. 5 minutes later, it's the Portland Trailblazers are trying to trade for Bam Adebayo. What the hell was going on there? That was a weird one. I'm so fed up with these, man. I really am. It's the thing that annoys me the most right now in the NBA is the Damian Lillard shit. Trade him or shut up. Enough. Enough is enough. Oh, how about this one? The Wizards sign and trade Kyle Kuzma to the Cavaliers for Sam Morrell and Evan Mobley. Wow, Isaiah Mobley. Evan Mobley's brother. Oh, okay, yeah, that one makes a lot more sense. Let's just piggyback on the Trailblazers messing the draft up. I think the Raptors mess it up. And this might not just be a draft thing. This just might be a whole offseason thing. There's reports that they're wanting to run it back. Run what back? Can we eliminate this phrase, please? Run it back only makes sense if you do good. Winning one singular play-in game is not running it back worthy. We're running it back. Oh, the Raptors are running it back. Is that supposed to be our reaction? I have no idea what they're doing. If they hold on to this core and don't trade off some of their players, I'm really at a loss for what the fuck they have going on in that building. They don't even really need to rebuild. You could trade one of OG, one of Siakam, get a big haul, and still try to be good. You don't have to blow it all up, but you need to do something. Okay, I got two bold ones here. 2 of the top 5 picks get traded. Now, I don't know what these picks look like. There's reports that the Hornets want out. Obviously, the Trailblazers are trying to shop. But then there's a bunch of reports that teams like the Jazz or the Magic really want to trade into the top 5. I don't know. I could see some movement. I could see some crazy stuff going down. Of course, anytime we think this, nothing ends up happening. So, did I use my powers for bad? It's very possible. This one's bold. This one's really bold. the Dallas Mavericks don't do something stupid. Yeah, I actually think the Mavericks are going to leave the draft night feeling pretty damn good about whatever happens, whatever it may be, whether that's staying at 10 and drafting somebody, which I think it's like 50-50. I don't think it's necessarily 100% one way or another. Whether it's they trade down in the draft and get a veteran player and a rookie, or they just trade out and get a really good player, whatever the case may be, I think they end up doing well. Like, it kind of sounds like the 10th overall pick has some leverage. Teams really like Derek Lively. Reportedly, remember, these are all smoke screens. There's a lot of guards around the 10 range that teams reportedly like a lot. So I don't know. Maybe somebody falls, right? Maybe one of the Thompson twin falls. Maybe Cam Whitmore falls and a team really wants him. Who knows? Either way, I think they end up doing pretty well on draft night. Bold, I know. Is my faith high? No. Is my delusion high, though? Yes. And that's really what matters the most. Speaking of good draft nights, I think the Magic end up with a really great draft night. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, obviously outside of the Spurs, if we leave the draft night and say, yeah, the Orlando Magic won the draft. They got their guys. Somebody fell to them at 6 they weren't expecting, and they got their guy at 11, whatever the case may be. Or they moved up and got, a really great young talent to add to their already amazing young core. Whatever the case may be, I think the Magic leave the draft feeling pretty damn good about themselves. I mean, they've hit a grand slam in the draft every fucking year, it feels like, since that horrible Nikola Vucevic trade. Horrible! I'm planting a flag right now. Let's remember this. Kobe Buffkin, that's my guy. This is my guy from this draft. He's a player I like a lot. My prediction is he goes top 8. Yeah. I think there's too much smoke around Anthony Black. I don't like it when it's just like seems guaranteed that a player is going to a team. It feels like it almost never happens that way. So there's a lot of smoke that Anthony Black goes 8 to the Wizards. I think it's going to be Kobe Buffkin. Yeah, that's what I think. It's so interesting with Kobe Buffkin. Like, anytime I read something about him or watch something about him, they're always like, yeah, he really doesn't have any weaknesses. Like, he's just a really solid overall player, does everything you want a winning player to do. Like, it's just a great team player, offensively and defensively. And he's got, like, enough stuff that you're pretty excited about his ceiling. And I'm like, oh, cool. So he's got to be a top 5 prospect, right? Oh, wait, no, he's like 12th, 13th, 14th. Well, who do they have ahead of him? Oh, 3 or 4 guys who don't know how to fucking shoot a basketball. Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. Oh, 3 or 4 guys who have no idea how to play defense. Oh, okay, all right, I guess that makes sense. Oh, wait, 3 or 4 guys who have no idea how to pass a basketball and their basketball IQ is in the gutter. Oh, okay, I mean, I guess so. Like, it makes no sense to me why this guy is as low as he is. And even if he doesn't get drafted top 8, I think we'll look back on this draft, 5, 6, 7 years from now, and he's going top 8 in redrafts. I'm planting my flag there. Let's see, what else do I have? The Oklahoma City Thunder do something crazy. They almost always trade on the draft. They usually trade up. They have the 11th overall pick, I believe. No, the 12th overall pick. Sorry, I misspoke. Very rare mistake on my part. It won't happen again. They have the 12th overall pick. I could see them moving up. They're going to have to consolidate their assets at some point. I've talked about this before. They have, I think, 3 or 4 first-round picks next year, and they already have a stupidly loaded young roster. Like, at some point, they're going to have to consolidate their assets. If, like, OG Anunoby is a member of the Thunder by the end of the draft night, would I be that shocked? No. Yeah. But in a much more real sense, no. I still think, whether it's this offseason or at the trade deadline or next offseason, they're going to end up with a player that nobody expected them to end up with. Like, they're gonna swing a trade that nobody saw coming, and they're gonna land like a big star player. Like, that's just, they have too many assets. Do I have anything else? Okay, a couple of traded things. Zion is not traded. There's a lot of smoke here. I do believe some of the rumors that the Pelicans are probably like, if we can get a top 3 pick for Zion, we should do it. But I don't know. This just seems like too big of a move to happen this quickly, if that makes sense. Because it's not like this is some guaranteed player where it's like, all right, lock it in. We're doing this no matter what. It's Zion. He's played in a quarter of his games. This off the court shit is getting weird, even though I won't hold it against him, but it is a lot. Like, in order to trade a top 3 pick, you have to be pretty damn sure this guy's going to play a lot. And you just really can't commit to that if you're Zion. So I just don't know if there's enough time for teams to really evaluate the situation for Zion to get traded. Like, that's a big move, a big risky one, and I would be shocked if it happened. But between now and the draft night, all right, maybe later in the offseason, maybe, but I just can't see it happening in the next few days. John Collins is finally traded. More rumblings. John Collins, God bless him, right? I feel like before he even got drafted, he was in college, was like, hey, John Collins is on the market. It's like, wait, what? He's a fucking college basketball player. I think he finally ends up getting dealt. Atlanta probably packages him with 15 in an effort to move up or just to get off that contract entirely. I have no idea what we're going to get, but I think this is finally the summer John Collins gets traded, and I would not be surprised at all if it were in the coming days. I mean, they have picks, they have solid wing depth. Like, Jalen Johnson is pretty much ready to go. Like, it's going to be his time this upcoming season. Don't think Dame gets traded, even though it makes the most sense. I'm very excited to see what Portland does. I mean, I think it's going to be busy trade times. I don't know. You know, is there going to be a player as big as Beal traded again this offseason? Maybe not. But I feel like it's going to be active. There's going to be a lot of trades. There's going to be a lot of trades on draft night. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I will be live on this channel. We'll be going live an hour before the draft starts. So make sure you guys show up. Make sure you're on your best behavior. Okay? It's that time of the year, man. I always forget how much I do enjoy this time of the year for basketball. Toodaloo.